Good evening all, and it is a good evening. In fact, it's a great evening. I want to echo what Alex just said, that our volunteers, they're not only the heart of our community, they're the heart and soul of our community. They are what keep us together, and we've certainly, over the last 3 years, to still be together is quite an achievement. So I especially this evening, we all felt bad around our council that we weren't able to honor the Volunteer of the Year for the last 3 years. It's actually 4 years tonight since we had this banquet last, volunteer banquet in Plymouth. And it was unfortunate that we did keep picking a Volunteer of the Year every year because we knew our volunteers were out there helping people in our communities. It was very important to recognize them. But I'm not going to mention their names tonight in case I miss somebody, but know that you were appreciated, and I think most of them did attend, if we were able to, the event in Halifax. And I will say too that this is the first year that the councillors, as well as everybody else, doesn't know who the Volunteer of the Year is. Other years we always voted on it and knew who it was, but our staff did an excellent job this year of keeping it all very quiet. So we'll be sitting on pins and needles too. But I just want to talk a little bit about volunteering, and certainly all the people in this room know how important it is. And when I was talking to somebody earlier this evening, I said, it's not, as a volunteer, people feel, well, you're doing all this stuff for other people, and what a good person you are. That's true. But there's a tremendous reward for the volunteers too. I've talked to many people who volunteered for 50, 60 years. People like Betty Lou Scott, and many others. But there's a tremendous reward, for the volunteer, because it gives you a great feeling of satisfaction when you're able to help other people in your community, and there's so much help needed. So it's a two-way street, and that's something we need to, we talk about at our council table a lot. We need to teach and train new volunteers, because we all sort of age out eventually. And as much as people still want to keep going, sometimes it's no longer possible. But we need to do a better job, I know, in this community with our council of training more volunteers, encouraging volunteers, and we need to come up with ways to do that. And I thought today when I was thinking about this of the many new people that have moved to our county over the past few years during COVID, especially from Ontario and other areas in our country, and as well as immigrants from far across the world. A lot of those people too have tremendous skills, and they want to fit into our communities. And volunteering is a great way for them to help fit into our community. So we need to put out the welcome arms to those people and encourage them to become involved with our communities, not just live here. And in fact, I've talked to several of them who say that's why they moved from Ontario. They want to get out of the hubbub of being around Ottawa or Toronto or somewhere and be somewhere to raise their family where there's children and where there's volunteers and where there's help that you don't get if you're living in the suburbs of Toronto. So again, whether you're a volunteer with our local fire departments, very, very important. You're a volunteer with crime prevention, you're a volunteer with our children or our older people. Across this, it's just unbelievable the number of people. There's probably 10 times or more the number of people that are here tonight that volunteer in our communities every day. So from on behalf of my 11 fellow councillors and from our council, I want to welcome you all and thank you all for all the work you do. And just before I finish, I'll say a big thank you to our own staff for organizing this tonight. It's a little bit different than we normally did, but we need to try things a little different sometimes. So thank you for being here.